Hard times create hard men. Hard men create soft times, better times, times of peace. And then these soft times create soft men. And then soft men, due to their softness, their effeminacy, their weakness, they create hard times. Israel is struggling with what I would consider to be the post-war mentality, the post-war sentiment. We did this war thing. We did the conquest. We're done. We're done with it. We've seen atrocities. We saw the barbarians of Canaan. I mean, there were even giants. What we saw is some of them were cannibalistic. God, we're done. We fought the barbarians and we won. And sure, some of their children are still alive and could grow up, but we've got time. Well, we don't need to run them down. We don't need to finish the job. We're tired. We're a little bit lazy, apathetic. And I do think this is an element. And, well, we're merciful. Right? DEI, man. Israel's, DEI policy. Diversity, equity, inclusion. We're cutting edge for our time, Yahweh. We want to, you're a God of mercy, and we want to be merciful too. And so we're going to tolerate. We're going to include. We're going to carve out space. And we're going to have a neutral public square. Seems Christ-like, compassionate. And principled pluralism, Yahweh. Classical liberalism, Yahweh. Just a little bit of polytheism. Just a sprinkle of idolatry. But out of kindness. And at the end of the day, it's the thought that counts. It's the intention, it's the motive, as long as our hearts are in the right place. So yes, apathy. Yeah, maybe a little PTSD. Yeah, fatigue and tired, but also pity. And in biblical terms, that word pity can go either way. There are times where the Bible says that God pitied Israel. And it's righteous. So there is a righteous form of pity. There's a righteous kind of pity, a compassion that is genuinely compassionate. But there is also a type of pity that is wicked, that is misguided, that's perverted. It is tweaked and twisted. It's pity where there should not be pity. And the Bible talks about this. Think of Deuteronomy. Old Testament law, it talks about when it comes to dealing out justice, your eye shall not pity. Right? You should not show favoritism to the rich. And this is rehashed out by Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount, also by the book of James. Right? Somebody comes in with fine clothing, not necessarily soft, it could be soft, but fine, rich clothing. You can discern this is a person of status, a person of I don't know, prestige, and you say, hey, come and sit in this nice seat, and then somebody dressed in shabby clothing comes in, oh, you sit on the floor by my feet. Right? So you are not to show partiality in regards to favoring the rich, but that's not the only way the principle applies. The principle applies across the board in both directions. The Old Testament says you shall not show favoritism to the rich, but also not pity the poor. So there is pity that comes from God that we might call mercy. And it's righteous. It has to do with compassion. But there's also pity that is sinful and twisted and tweaked, perverse, that is not compassion, but rather it's tolerance of wickedness. It's tolerance of wickedness. It's like the difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy comes from the root word compassion. Compassion lending towards love, a pure, genuine, authentic love. So real love is compassion, and compassion, that's where we get sympathy from. Empathy, however, is not necessarily the same. And I won't make a big debate out of the words because it depends how you use the word empathy and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of the ways, I'll at least say this, a lot of the ways that the word empathy has been used by our culture in the West today is what the Bible would describe as a sinful pity. It's not sympathy, compassion, genuine love, but rather it's favoritism. It's discrimination. It's, I'm going to elevate this person not because of anything that's objective or just or fair, but simply because I'm going to arbitrate between, this person and that because I like this person. They're poor or they're a minority. And, this person over there, they may be doing the right thing, but it doesn't matter. This is a woman. This is a man. This person's a minority ethnicity. This person's white. And this person's LGBT, LMNOP, and this person's just traditional family. Ugh, it makes me sick. That's not righteous pity. That's wicked pity. And Israel had some of that for their adversaries.